What's going on, everyone? This is Squids doing another episode of Maid Wars. I decided to do this. I think I'm just going to keep running until the end of the series since we're already this far into it. And I am honestly just a huge fan of the show and the creativity and design and artwork, and PA Works just knocks us out of the park. So this episode pretty much starts with a recap going off of what happened last week and all the drama and everything. And we come to find out that our, Ugaki is at the Beethoven base, and they're kind of discussing, like, when are we gonna go to war? When is this shit gonna happen? Because she's just sick of it, and obviously she's pretty much stated she's going to war. So the head of the group is not about it. She's still about that peaceful stuff, and so from there on, our girl takes it in her own hands and decides that, herself, Monami, is going to attack the piglets. And so they're getting that all set up and ready. And while that's going on, we flash back to the Oinky Doinky Cafe. And we see our girl, oh my gosh, Ranko. And she's kind of like just dazing out and not paying much attention after the fact because it's been about a week since that happened. And we find out that Nagomi has kind of just disappeared and hasn't came back since that week that it happened. And Renko goes out to hand out flyers, kind of, giving them out like Nagomi always did. And she sees a ninja at the end of the line. And of course, the ninja is Nagomi, and she tries to, just leave the maid life because obviously what happened last week to her best friend and sister was detrimental enough to make her want to quit doing that. And by all means, I could understand that completely. It sucks because I actually did really like the character, but hey, no, we only got so much of her, but RIP. And while that's being all said and done, her freaking Ranko and Nagomi, they kind of chit chat about it, and obviously Nagomi just does not want to come back, and we get kind of a recap of the murder scene, but we kind of move on, and Nagomi gets some guests that request her personally at the cafe. And they ended up being big fans of Sister. No, apparently had a pretty big fan base. And they're like, look, okay, we were told, she talked about you all the time, Nagomi. Like, apparently she praised her and was like, she's going to change the maid industry. And she had tons of faith in her, which understandably they were really good friends, even though it wasn't super long time. And they hand her a Polaroid of her, and they're like, look, you have this. While Nagomi is pretty much bawling in the corner because obviously she feels bad. So what does she do? She takes it, they leave, and she starts training. She's throwing shuriken at a freaking dartboard just to practice getting ready. We don't exactly know, but we all know. And they kind of, gave a little hints and gestures at it when Ranko was visiting. She was talking about what ninjas do with like smoke bombs and everything like that. So it's kind of like a slight bit of foreshadowing, but not exactly. But that's going on. The piglets are getting ready to get ready for war. They kind of they don't have very long to do it because pretty much as soon as we get back there, they are invading the den. And from the beginning of it is 17 versus 6. It might be 7 because I think the panda counts as 7. But I digress. The war starts and it's pretty much looking one-sided. It's a bloodbath. The shots are great. The manager tries to hold one of them hostage. Doesn't give a shit. The hostage just gets shot right in her arms. And right when all hope looks like it's gonna be freaking down the shitter, freaking Nagami sends out like a distraction out front so they all leave since they're all surrounded in the building, and goes up the elevator without anybody noticing and throws like 1,000 smoke bombs out into the open. And she's actually doing a really good job. Like, she's freaking like throwing the shuriken straight into like shins and stuff, and like it's a bloodbath. And just the action scenes, they're not like the best I've ever seen, but they're freaking fantastic. They're smooth, they flow well, and they don't like overdo it with the blood, but I'll be honest, they kind of do, but I fucking love that. And so pretty much only 2 of them escape, which is obviously just an underling. And then the other one that escapes is your girl specifically. Freaking Manami. She escapes too. And she calls up Ugaki to be like, look, we need backup because this is not going good. Ugaki's like, look, we got a merger going on with the creature land, so we don't need you anymore. Adios. So she just pretty much like goes, yep, bye-bye. And you know, I kind of seen that coming. So while that's going on, Nagami and Norenko catch up to her to like end this, you know what I mean? Because obviously she killed her sister and her best friend. But and she sends her underling off and just decides to take this on head first. And obviously she wants to use violence, but Nagami's like, no, look, we're done with this shit. Because flashback a tiny bit, I did miss this little scene while she's debating, while Nagami's debating about going back and everything. General, the ramen guy, is like, look, people come to my shop because it tastes the same, they say, even though I'm changing it constantly. So the new same is different, essentially, is what he's getting around to. Like, things can stay the same, but they can change to like a new normal, per se. So she brings that up to the other maid. She's like, nah, violence. And so she ducks and just smacks the shit out of her, like enough to cough out blood. And keep in mind, she's already like been like stabbed in the knee. She's wrapped up and everything. But Ranko is like, look, step aside, I'm gonna shoot her. And she's like, no. Maid's are about the Moi Moi Kyun, and I'm about that. It's time for a change. So she walks away, and she's like, look, I guess I'm done pig hunting. And goes, she just leaves. And that's when we kind of like realize that, okay. Nagami's she's back in full force, baby. And she stood up for herself, and she's looking for change. And I feel like she's going to be the change of the maid industry, which is freaking tight. And the coolest thing is we actually got to see Nagami fight for once, which was just awesome because, obviously she hasn't fought because she's very against that. And I mean, sure, it was slaps and knife throws, but they were pretty freaking neat. And then this is where like things really hit the fan for the next, I guess, arc for the last, 4 or 5 episodes. Manami comes back to the lookout and she's like, well, thanks for the help. Screw you guys. And freaking Ugaki's like, no, look. And she has her and all the other 6 of that little franchise group. And she's like, look, we're done with this shit. We have a partnership with Creatureland that's going to be an equal footing. No more violence. You're useless now. So they all just light her up. Okay? Stardust is no longer. She gets shot like 100 times and she's looking like like when you accidentally like sit on a box of juice, man, just overflowing, just gushing holes everywhere. And then she pretty much does this nice little line of, damn, that hurts. Being alive sucks. And then she dies. And then she just dies. Which, fitting ending. New era. Pool of blood. And then we kind of cut to this like news scene that's like, look. Well, it's not like a news scene. It's kind of just like a flashy thing. We find out that Creatureland's actually screwing them. And they're not going to be on equal footing. And their turf is just destroyed. Madeline, one of the two. I don't know. They're gone. They're pretty much out of the picture. A little faction of them that opposed the merger broke away, and like a second gen, so we'll see what happens with that in the future. I got a feeling that's going to come to fruition before the end of the season. And That's pretty much it. The only other real thing that happens is they kind of say no one really knows what happens to the Crimson Supernova, but they pretty much put it in a barrel and throw it in the ocean. And the manager or the big boss of Creatureland, Nagi, which we haven't really seen a whole shit ton of, is at the very end of this episode, and she's kind of looking through the files and cases, and she's like, they were better off roasted as a whole, which I guess we'll find out what that means coming up soon, which I'm assuming maybe she wants Oinky Doinks gone. Who knows? But we're going to find out. So yeah, that's episode 7. It was a pretty dang good episode. It was definitely not as climactic as last week, but it's setting up, and we got what we came for, right? We got action, blood, plot progression, Nagami getting into the fights. It was brutal. It was awesome. I very, very much enjoyed it, and I'm very happy of what happened. And with that being all said and done, that's what I got for y'all. We'll be back in the next video here, and please, if you liked the video, if you made it this far, give it a like, subscribe. Thanks for sticking around. If you watched it this long, I know it was the most thorough, but gosh dang, this anime gets me so excited, and I hope it gets y'all excited as it gets me. If anybody else wants to discuss it in the comments, leave a comment down below, and we will talk to y'all soon. Peace.